Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Let's Max Warframe. Today we're going to be taking a look at a weapon that I've seen quite a few people request and it's cropped up a few times in the giveaway video in favourite loadouts, the Tenno hand cannon, the Pyrana. Now the Pyrana is a fully automatic shotgun pistol, much like the semi-auto Brak or the Broncos, and deals a fairly hefty 108 damage a shot, with the overwhelming majority 86.4 coming in the form of slash, with the rest being split equally between impact and puncture, both coming in at 10.8. The Pyrana also comes with a fantastic 12 pellets, which is the highest out of all of the shotgun sidearms, and when you take into account barrel diffusion and lethal torrent, it has one of the highest pellet counts out of all of the shotguns in the game. It also has a pretty decent critical chance of 20%, with a 200% critical damage multiplier, making a critical build definitely viable, something that I am going to talk about a little bit later. In addition to that, it comes with a base fire rate of 4.2 rounds a second, and since it's fully automatic, it doesn't suffer from the same fire rate problems as some of the other semi-auto shotgun sidearms. In addition to all of that, it has one feature that stands it apart from those other secondary shotguns, which is that the pellets do not suffer from any fall off at all, which is definitely very nice. Now, it's not all good things about the Pyrana, it has got some problems as well. Primarily is its recoil. This thing kicks like a mule. Now, what that means is that going too far with fire rate can mean missing most of your clip is fairly easy to do. And since you've only got 5 rounds in a magazine with a fairly long 2-second reload, it can severely hamper the weapon. It can be dealt with pretty easily by just getting used to the weapon, but it is something that will catch you out if you've only just started using it. Now, it's also only got 10% status, and since like all shotguns that status chance is split between all the pellets, and I am going to talk a little bit about that later, but it does mean that status builds are seriously ineffective on a weapon like this. But in all honesty, these are the only problems I really feel the Pyrana has, and it doesn't really hamper it too much. It's more just things to be aware of more than anything else. Okay, so let's move on to starting to mod the Pyrana. Now, because it's a weapon that comes from a clan dojo, it doesn't come with any polarities whatsoever. So we're going to add 6 former to this, which is going to be 4 Vs and 2 dashes. Now for this build, we're going to have a few mods that are remaining the same. We've got Hornet Strike for damage, Barrel Diffusion for multi-shot, Lethal Torrent, which is going to increase the fire rate as well as give more multi-shot, Pistol Gambit for crit chance, which is going to bring it up to 44%, and Target Cracker for crit damage, which is going to bring it up to 3.2. Now for our Grenadier build, we're going to go with 3 elemental mods. So we're going to go with Primed Heated Charge and Convulsion, which is going to bring up radiation against the really heavy Grenadier, and Pathogen Rounds for the extra toxin damage, which is going to help deal with the heavy gunners a bit easier. For the Corpus, we're going to go with Convulsion and Deep Freeze, which is going to bring up Magnetic, and Primed Heated Charge, which is going to, like I've said in previous videos, it doesn't have any negatives against the Corpus, except the things like the tech shields, which the Magnetic's there to deal with anyway. But it, so it's going to do more damage still than a bonus to Pathogen Rounds against the fleshy Corpus. So that's why I go with this rather than Pathogen Rounds. And then for the Void, we're going with Corrosive and Heat, so Pathogen Rounds Convulsioned and Primed Heated Charge. Now if you're going for the Corrosive Projection build, you can always change out Convulsion for Deep Freeze, and then you'll get the viral and heat damage that you need against those heavier units in the Void, but only if you're using CP. So do I think it's worth the time, effort and resources invested into maxing this thing out? And the answer to that is yes, it's definitely worth it. Pyrana is one of those weapons that I leveled, completely missed both the point and the potential of the weapon, put it back into the arsenal and completely forgot about it. When the time came to actually take it to max it, I realised I didn't even have a potato on it. But I took it, I played with it, and I ended up doing all the former in a single day. I liked it so much. Now, I've got nothing against the semi-auto hand cannons like the Brak or the Bronco Prime, but I do find the full auto Pyrana a lot nicer to use, just because I don't feel like that I'm in the process of destroying my mouse by trying to fire with it quickly. It's great fun to use, although it really can feel a little bit sluggish in the middle of a fight, especially since the magazine size isn't huge and the reload at 2 seconds is pretty slow. But despite those things, it is a fantastic sidearm and it can absolutely shred things. Now, I know people are going to ask me about MAME, the 120% slash mod, and I spent probably 2 hours trying to work out whether it was worth it. And I came to the conclusion that because of the crit mods taking up too much mod space, not really having much room, the elemental loss from putting MAME on there, especially if the elemental loss was primed heated chamber, it just wasn't worth it. I mean, against primed heated chamber there was no contest for me. The damage loss from that is just not worth it. Against a 90% mod, it's often an easy decision that, depending on the actual damage of the weapon itself, whether the 120% physical damage is going to be worth it. But to be honest, the only build where I would be replacing that 90% mod was against the Grenier, who have decent resistances to slash in the first place. So even the 90% elementals with its 25% bonus to ferrite armor worked out better than a 120% slash mod with a minus 50% resistance for some of those Grenier units. Now, I promised to talk a little bit about status and shotguns. Currently the mechanics are a little bit weird. When you look at the way critical works on shotguns, the chance is per pellet. So if you have a 40% crit chance, that's 40% chance per pellet to crit. However, when you take a look at status, if you have a 40% status chance, then that is split between all the pellets. So pretty much a 40%, well, if you've got 10 pellets for example, 40% divided by 10 and then multiplied by 100, meaning basically you've got pretty much 4% per pellet to actually proc the status, which you can agree is pretty poor. And while shotguns, well, status on shotguns are barely ever worth it, unless you're going to hit sort of 90+% really, so pretty much only the Heck, the Bore Prime and the Strun Wraith. Now it is a shame, and something that I do think needs to be looked at, and actually would be a reasonable buff per shot for the shotguns. But this is why crit is going to be worth it on a shotgun based weapon like this, and the BRAC, but it's really, the status is just, there's no point going for status, it just doesn't work. So in effect, huge slash damage, huge fun at the cost of insane recoil. The Pyrana is proof that big things come in little packages, they just need to be given a chance. Now just a quick little update from a clan point of view. Yard Gaming has decided to switch alliances. 404 Alliance Not Found was a great place to be, but sadly over the last couple of months it has become fairly inactive. Now there are some awesome people there and I thank you all for making us very, very welcome, but in the end it was just time for us to move on. Now I am very pleased to announce that Yard Gaming has become a member of the Cephalon Collective, alongside some fantastic people, including everyone's favourite Cephalon, Quiet Shy, and Stalker, DK Diamentes. Now, we are pleased to be part of such a great group of people, and the welcome is extremely warm, and we thank you very, very much for that. Now, Yard Gaming are still recruiting. We are taking people on. We are mostly EU time zone, but we do have guys pretty much on in, I'd say, almost all time zones. So feel free to either message myself or my fellow warlord Blazereiter to talk to us about joining, and I will post the contact names in the description below. One quick little final thing from me, my good friend Gextroll from the Otter Gaming Squad on YouTube has done me a huge favour and helped me out with some new channel art and a new Google Plus icon. I absolutely love them and think that is just the flair that I was looking for with them. Now I've linked his YouTube channel below. He does a lot of things like armour videos plus some random let's plays and things, so feel free to check him out. I think you'll definitely enjoy it. Related to that, I will be working closely with him and also Worthy Platoon guys to bring you some Armour 3 content in the very near future. So keep your eye out for that, and as always, many thanks for watching. Please remember to leave a like and subscribe, it helps me out a ton, and I shall see you in the next episode.